PowerPoint presentation prepared on the topic of the rise and future demise of the world capitalist system, concepts for comparative analysis. Author, Immanuel Wallerstein, World System Perspective, SO 581, presented by Anup Adhikari, Professor, Nabin Acharya, Master of Arts in Sociology, 2nd year/3rd semester, Sarasvati Multiple Campus, Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu, Nepal. Pictures of Immanuel Wallerstein, American sociologist and economic historian, 1930 to 2019. Table of Contents. Cover page. Table of Contents. Interface of the journal. Theme of the text: Rostow's Stage of Economic Growth. Frank's concept of development of underdevelopment. Difference between communism, capitalism and socialism. Wallerstein's World System Theory. Interface of the journal. Theme of the text. The author has presented that the growth in capitalists' world economy of industrial sector of production, industrial revolution, as organic, central, development and progress. Saint Simon, Hegel, Weber, Durkheim and other sociologists have contributed to this theory to make it more dynamic, working and functioning, as well as they described this as the holding line of economic development. But the Karl Marx argued that 19th century's economic development was in classical form and was inappropriate, but Marx focused on failure of the opponents in the form of bourgeoisie and proletariat as the economic equality. Author supports the words of Lukács and a non-Marxist, Robert Nisbet, and states that now Marxism is not that of 19th century, it can't support to become social whole, view of totality, and the new trends are on the way. We cannot exactly predict the future, but we can predict the past history time periodically, stages, and the author has presented 5 major key considerations on the text about the analysis of rise and demise of world capitalist system. The author has also presented the ideas and development of the mode of production, division of labor, primitive communism, ancient slavery, feudalism, capitalism, socialism/communism, idea of progress, idea of totality, commodity, use value, exchange value, human labor power, merchant, class, proletariat and bourgeoisie, Marxian stages and official stage of doctrine by including the literature of different authors. Major concern of the text: can a country skip from the feudal stage to the socialist stage of national development without passing through capitalism? Theme of the text. Major 2 types of system, mini-systems and world system. The author prioritizes that before 19th century mini-system was popular, but in 19th, 20th, and in 21st century world system is in existence. Varieties of world system now, common political system and without it. Colonialization has also helped to flourish the world economy. Author has presented the example of China, Egypt, Rome, Great Britain, France and Latin America, etc. In the past, trade was conducted in the name of administrated trade and not as a market trade, which is somehow related to colonialism, and later it changed into colonialism and capitalism in Europe. The author tries to represent the combination of various phenomenon of world system by different characteristics. European world economy of 16th century is now developed into capitalist world economy. Wallerstein also provides the example of André Gunder Frank's concept of the development of underdevelopment in the text and describes how does it affects the world economic system. Theme of the text. The author presents the idea given by the Marx as the baseline, as well as the idea presented by Frank and Sweezy brings what actually happened in this economic system. He has put forwarded the example of various authors such as Daub and Laclau. Question raised in the text: Western Europe, England and Latin America, Mexico or in West Indies, mode of production differs from the late 17th century. The rule ruled by Mao Zedong and Liu Shaoqi in the 1960s of Chinese People's Republic was a socialist state? Answer: if there has proletariat, then capitalism also occurs. According to the text, dictatorship theory was elaborated by the Lenin in his pamphlet, State and Revolution, before Bolshevik takeover the Russia. As Soviet thought, firstly USSR was ruled through socialist state and later it became communism in eventually form, and in 1936 Stalin proclaimed that USSR had become socialist, not yet communist. The author has presented the three stages after bourgeois rule: a post-revolutionary government, a socialist state and eventually communism. After the Second World War, communism was flourished in East Europe like so. In 1950s the thought differs of Communist Party of Soviet Union and the Chinese Communist Party. Theme of the text. Chinese Communist Party argued that communism was a character. It is not nation-states, but it represents the world economy as a whole. Mao Zedong supports cultural revolution. He argues revolution as a process, not an event, which develops the socialist to capitalist revolution which leads China into economic development in short period of time. But Louis Shaoqi argued China was a socialist state. 16th century capitalism becomes world economic system in 19th century. In capitalist world economic system, production is done to make maximum profit. Classical economists argue such type of production as a natural state, but anthropologists argues this type of production was only one of several possible modes. For author, Karl Marx was also in confusion about industrialism and capitalism. Like so, this confusion till 18th century was named as a transitional period by Marxist supporter. According to author, the production between 16th to 18th century's mode of production is only agricultural production, and argues the words of Dobb by providing the example of Europe, Poland and Western Hemisphere by saying, before the Industrial Revolution there exists only single division of labor in large geographical area. Theme of the text. In 16th century, Northeast Europe has agricultural specialization and added certain industries such as textiles, shipbuilding and metal wares. Northwest Europe emerged as core area of the economy by producing high-skill agricultural production. Eastern Europe and Western Hemisphere became peripheral area specializing in export products such as grains, wood, cotton and sugar, etc. And Mediterranean Europe emerged as semi-peripheral area specializing in high-cost industrial products and transactions. By 1640s the three structural position in world economy, core, periphery and semi-periphery, became stable. Author presents that capitalism was from the beginning an affair of the world economy and not of nation-states by providing the example of England, France, Germany and Soviet Union. According to author, kings and bureaucrats wants to stay in power and constitution is the consequence of that misuse of power. Diplomacy, leadership, political system, constitution, economic strategies, ethno-national relation, internal mechanism, state machineries, military machineries are the major mechanism of world economy in present context. The author has also presented the ethno-national relation and international business opportunity exploitation in the world economic system. Theme of the text. The European economy flourished in the time frame between 1650 to 1730. Author has presented the development phase of Spain, Ottoman Empire, Russian World Empire and Italian city-states. Wallerstein also describes the industrialization revolution of England, France, Russia and Japan. Author points out the various stage of development of Europe, America, Asia and Africa by providing the date and the situation of these regions, which includes what type of world system got popular there from the past to present. Michael states that establishment of trade union of industries workers and socialist parties is known as anti-capitalists' mass spirit. Welfare state ideology was aroused because of the class conflict. The author has presented that how First and Second World War has created the different situations and consequences in economy of the world. Colonization became inferior role to keep good relations with periphery and semi-periphery by core countries, so now, exploitation is done thorough the medium of diplomacy. The author has presented the 4 cases of world system and provides the example that political vulnerability of capitalist entrepreneurs and demonstrates that private ownership is irrelevant to the rapid expansion of industrial productivity. Theme of the text: larger share of world surplus, more than what is needed or used or excess, has become the fundamental element in the survival of the world system. The cost of co-option, adopt an idea or policy for one's own use, rises in higher degrees, but the advantages of co-option seem very less valuable. Now, there is only one world system, and it is a world economy system. Finally, the author has presented that comparative analysis, dimension of difference and the level of significance to create the knowledge which can develop the good, true, and beautiful moments, and these must be prioritized.